right then. Just a warning, I may cough occasionally and I may be forced to clear my throat because I'm not 100% better, but I'm pretty much better.
It's okay.
As example, thank you, body. Right.
Thank you for the reminder.
Thank you for the reminder that you're still not well and you now work in a school, so germs. Restless nights and distant actions hang over the party. When we last left off, some things were going down in the original gnomish settlement of Fork. The gnomes, not known for their creative naming conventions. The party had started to travel away from Fork, continuing their journey towards Brackeridge. However, a few nights of travel started to show the problems still tagging along with the party, causing them to about turn and return to town. A drinking contest was had, the fate of a date riding upon it. However, unfortunately, the rogue wasn't quite able to keep their alcohol down, losing the prized date, and maybe some pride. Maybe not. The group returned to a temple where a misunderstanding led to a strong disagreement, which in turn led to Ray now being obliged to be mindful of other religions, for now. This trip did also spur the ranger to undertake some research, finding out information on demons and devils. A frustrated Nyx wandered off into the city, still unable to rest properly. All that she remembers of that night was collapsing in an alley due to exhaustion after acquiring another cinnamon bun.
Oh.
The sounds of steel pressing against cobblestone in a rhythmic fashion, whilst the rest of the party were nowhere to be found. But you believe they were probably out searching for you, is the last thoughts going across your mind. However, Nyx, when you wake up, it is not the semi-familiar inn-room or your tent you find yourself in.
Oh.
Instead, as you glance around, it appears to be a small house with a thick fog outside. A wonky brick chimney leads up from the open fire, now just a few glowing embers and ash. A battered wrought iron cauldron hangs above the fireplace. A faint smell of stew comes from within. A small bed sits against one wall. Simple furs make the covers laying over a hay-like mattress. You push yourself up. You push yourself up from the hard stone floor, realizing what you first mistook for fog must be something else. What would be a perfect semisphere of magical force intersects through the house, going outside, causing, creating a bubble through part of the building and completely surrounding you. Creaking of old wood causes you to look at its origin. The old rocking chair squeaks again as the occupant continues to lean forward. A weathered and aged woman, wrinkled skin clinging to her frail bones. The repeatedly patched clothes hang from her form, neutral colours darkened even further by mud. Her eyes appear to be clouded by a similar grey fog to that is surrounding you. Nonetheless, you feel like they are staring straight at you. The mouth twists into a crooked smile, revealing only a few remaining crooked and darkened teeth.
Okay.
And next, you have successfully had a long rest.
Oh shit, what?
Right, so as Abby figures that out,
What?
as Abby figures that out, Eryn, you undertook research at the library. You found some stuff out about demons and devils, including that what might be the creature that is plaguing Nyx's nightmares, or causing them, for the matter of fact. What did you do afterwards?
I think we went, all three of us started looking for Nyx, is what I remember.
I believe you did something along those lines, and Leon, it would help if I actually had the rolls still up. Oh yeah, those were your investigation rolls for you.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we roll some investigation checks for you guys trying to find Nyx then, shall we?
Mm-hmm. Straight up 10.
Could have been worse.
True.
All right. Not knowing what form she would have taken on with the hat of disguise when she snuck away. Oh, oh dear.
I'm just loving the gods, man.
All gods are just truly great.
Oh, fantastic.
All right, so Eryn, not entirely knowing the form to which Nyx took, it proves rather difficult to try and track her through a city, especially at night time. Now that there are very few people, urban settings are not really your expertise for tracking or
Fair.
attempting to find anyone. You believe you sort of hang around sort of a few areas you think she might be interested in, kind of glance around the three temples within the city, but you don't really find anything that you believe to be Nyx. This is also, your efforts aren't helped by the fact that Ray is just happily sort of not skipping along, but walking alongside you and keeps on pointing out the really interesting things about the temples and, the gods, and keeps assuring you that the gods are just the greatest thing to have ever happened.
I hate
I
you.
roll my eyes.
I'm so happy. I'm not there, but I'm happy.
All right.
Once this wears off, I'm thunder waving every temple I ever see for the rest.
Oh
I
God, you're just
swear.
going to be under so
It'll
many
never
curses.
run out if you keep doing that.
The gods are gonna love me.
I mean, some gods might, but not the ones you probably want having an interest in you.
The game.
Does this game have like a version of like sheer Gorath?
God of Madness. There are mad beings.
A version of what now?
Sheogorath.
Sure.
He's the god
Daedric,
from the Elder Scrolls.
Daedric Prince of Madness.
He's pretty cool.
He's cool.
That's-
I prefer Sanguine.
That's where you get the cheese for everyone quote from.
You
Scratch that, cheese for no one.
love that quote so much.
It's a great quote. It was also really amusing that the voice actor for Sheogorath actually looks quite like him, so he cosplays as him sometimes.
That's pretty cool.
Anyway,
Quick question. Long rest. Reset maximum hit points. Recover 1 level of exhaustion.
do not reset maximum hit points, recover 1 level of exhaustion.
Thank you.
You are unfortunately... Actually, let me just double check that.
Can I
I
edit my spell?
believe you are still at reduced hit points. Yeah, you're stuck like that until you have them by magic, I'm afraid.
Oh shit. Okay.
But feel free to swap out your spells, and you're now only at 1 exhaustion level.
Ah, spells.
Oh, yeah, and you got spell slots back. Congratulations.
Thank God.
Right, so Eryn, I assume Ray and Vincent, your efforts in trying to pinpoint Nyx go to little avail.
I'd like to also add that Erin's being very quiet.
Oh, shit, is that the... Oh, I think that's the wrong map. Why do I even have that map?
Quick question. Could I
Yes.
use my familiar to deliver a message?
You could attach a note to it, certainly.
Would I know if anything happens to it?
I would say you would have an understanding if your familiar goes poof.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna go look for parchment and stuff to write.
I believe you have some on you, don't you?
Brilliant. In which case, I'll write a letter.
Such a fucking dweeb.
If you don't, I'm pretty sure Eryn does.
I mean, I have a journal. I don't have much writing equipment stuff.
Well, if you've got a journal, I'd assume you have.
Not my journal.
I could have sworn one of you ended up with buying.
I bought a journal.
Oh, was it
Of course
Nick?
you did.
Are you the one with the writing equipment?
Yeah. I bought it for specific reasons.
I don't see it on yours either. Did you add it as a?
Oh, it's in my other equipment.
You say I quickly go out and buy some,
Yeah, sure.
as
Let's
well as
see.
stuff to change my familiar. Or do you want me to actually do it?
No, that to change your familiar, that's what you have the brazier already. It's what 10 gold of herbs and incense in this town. You could easily find it. They are one of the strongest magic sort of towns you'll find. Let's see. For an ink pen, that's 2 copper. For where's book? No, actually, I think there's parchment as well. Do you just want to get some parchment, or do you want to get more some paper, or do you want to get more parchment, or just a book?
Um, I'll get fancy parchment the best I can. But
Paper's actually slightly more fancier.
I'll get paper then.
How many sheets?
3 to be safe. I don't know how long the letter's gonna be.
So was 6? Was that
Yeah, I'll go 6. Why not?
6? All right. So that's 12 silver pieces, 2 copper pieces, and 5 gold pieces for the ink. So altogether, that is what 5? So that's 6 gold, 2 silver, 2 copper.
Cool. Done.
All right. You can spend the hour, I believe, changing your familiar
Yeah, I'm gonna change him into a hawk.
into a hawk. Certainly.
Fucking badass.
I believe in him.
All right.
Your only friend's
so,
a bird.
So you burn the incense, follow the ritual detailed, and Pepper is now a hawk.
Cool. Then I'll spend the rest of the writing the letter.
All right. So Ray spends the rest of the evening writing her letter in her room. Vincent, Eryn, anything else you're going to do?
Not particularly. I just
I
skulk around and follow people.
I want to make
Brand new.
one. I want to make one last desperate effort to try and find Nyx.
All right. It's getting rather late now, but I'll let you roll. Sure. I'll let you roll a
Survival.
Yeah. 16. All right. So it's getting quite late now.
I'd just like to add that he's really desperate right now. He's not happy at all.
None of us are.
Right. So it's quite late now, but Eryn, being determined that he is somewhat frantically searching for Nyx, recalling that she brought food earlier. You essentially go round the local bakers in the nearby area, attempting to find, at least chance upon finding her, and you come to one which nearby. The sort of smells coming from it remind you very strongly of the food of the brought earlier. You start poking around, glancing. You sort of glance down an alleyway and notice that sort of a few crates have sort of been knocked askew somewhat. As you sort of go further down, you do find a sort of small pool of maybe saliva and some hair. And as much as you don't particularly want to look too close, you believe the hair may indeed be from Nyx. Glancing further around, you are not sure where she has gone from there, however.
Oh god, I don't know how to react. I'm just gonna take the hair and. Oh, I don't know. He's getting really desperate.
It's beginning to get sort of like 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah, dude, he's not going to sleep. Um, the thing is, I feel bad about like being like, oh, can I just roll another roll? You know, I just wanna.
I'll let you do one.
Okay, he'll probably give up after that. Is that what roll would that be?
It'll be another. Yeah, we'll do another survival to try and track where Nyx went from here.
Oh my god.
Okay. It's going to take you until the morning,
Yeah, that's fine.
but sort of tracing steps and sort of trying to get yourself into a mindset of maybe someone not wanting to know where you go. It is a long process. Get lost many a time. You find sort of you end up coming across quite a lot of, well, not quite a lot of, the odd sort of rough sleeper, sort of sleeping outside, and sort of ask questions to try and find out anything. And you begin to get information of, yes, there was actually some of them did see a gnome, matching the description of Nyx. And with a few coins, we'll say about, probably talking 6, 7 silver, you're able to get information that you needed from that this gnome was actually being carried by a woman. Following these sort of tales, it's weird. The description of the woman sort of varies wildly. Always either human. The age seems to range from a young mademoiselle to an old hag. Normally stating like from brown hair to grey hair, from a sort of fine posture to a hunched back. Robes were always stated to be plain, but sort of following these few accounts, you make your way to the edge of town, to which you find a somewhat weird presence. As you sort of make your way out of the town, there is what you would assume to be a house, but you just see sort of small parts of the small parts of sort of like the roof sticking out of this solid grey dome that just intersects through it all. If that makes sense. Completely opaque. You can't see in it. And as far as you, Eryn, are concerned, Nyx is in that dome.
Okay. I go up to it tentatively, probably huffing a bit because I've been walking fast.
And you've been up all night.
Oh god, yeah. Okay.
To which I will say you will take a point of exhaustion.
Okay, remind me what that means again for the first.
The first point of exhaustion, I just believe it's disadvantage on ability checks, isn't it?
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Only ability checks, so your saving throws are not yet.
Okay.
Since you're up and doing physical activity, I'm ruling that is a a sort of automatic point of exhaustion.
Yeah, I walk up to it. You said it was completely opaque. I can't see inside.
Can't see in it. It appears to be grey and sort of swelling.
Oh Okay.
So actually, let me just draw. If this is say like your house, you have it just appears to be like part of a house, and you just see this sort of grey dome just cut through bits of it, and you can't see through the dome, but you can just see the sort of bits of the house sticking out, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Can I also ask, Vincent and Ray, did you guys come with?
Ray went back to write her letter, and I don't know what Vincent was doing.
I'd have probably just chilled out in the tavern.
Okay.
I don't think I would have
Answer
come
then,
with you.
no.
Drank all night. Drank away his sorrows for not getting that date.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Is that whoop?
I failed a drinking contest. I need to drink more.
Get some practice in.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the door. There is a door.
You cannot see the door. You can essentially just see corners and bits of the roof.
Okay. Oh God, is that all I can see? All right.
Yeah. So it's like it really is. Just imagine sort of like a grey dome, and then you
Yeah.
just see the odd bit of roof sticking out. Like
Okay. I thought there
Sort
was
of like-
more of the house sticking out. Okay.
it appears to be a sort of small hut with a dome generated from inside, which cuts through the house.
Okay. I'm going to.
That was my bad. Yeah, no, I
No,
think
it's
small
fine, dude.
hut, maybe a room in, maybe 2 rooms inside.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna very tentatively step inside the door, if I
Your foot
can.
just hits against solid.
Okay. Getting frustrated, I'm gonna sort of hammer on the with my fist.
You sort of hit it, and it makes a sound as you sort of slam into it, and then your hand sort of gets pushed back slightly by a force. Not so much like hitting a solid object, but more like being refused entry into space.
Okay. I'm gonna
And it also makes a
shout.
slight noise as it does so.
I'm gonna shout. Is anybody there?
No play.
He kind of kicks the ground in frustration. I'm just looking through my spells.
Oh man. How many more people are we
Um,
gonna piss off by using spells? It's fine, I believe in you.
Nice, Slim, do you
God,
need a thunder wave?
what would you guys do to like? Oh God, there's a few towns which, God, yeah. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Okay.
Mm.
Shit. You know, I really wish I had like, what's the one where you can, the one that not users to send message. I really wish I had that right
Oh,
now.
message.
Yeah,
Mm.
message.
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 Yes,
The
cool.
cantrip message. Yeah.
I
You
would.
can reply to this
love
message.
Well done. Bless.
He's gonna sit down on the ground and try and see if there's. Can you get? Is there any way? Can you spot anything? Any way to get into the?
The dome seems to touch perfectly into the ground as you get down and sort of stare right at the paving slabs and the sort of rocks. You notice like where the paving slab dips down, just this grey continues down and presses just against it. There appears to be no gaps. You try and like poke a rock through, it doesn't go through.
He swears loudly in Elvish, and then gets up and. I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna run back to the tavern as fast as my point of exhaustion will allow and try and wake up Ray and Vincent.
All right. Well, you spend like most of the night trying to get there, so it's going to take a little while for you to get back to the tavern. As you
Okay.
do so, Nix,
Mm,
what are you doing?
just doing the thing people do where like someone's staring at them, they just freeze up and stare back like maybe if I don't move, they won't know I'm here. It's just Survival instinct.
A few, maybe even minutes pass of this before she kind of goes, awake, I see.
Maybe? Uh, 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 so, where are we?
She kind of glances around. The fog's still covering her eyes, but they do appear to sort of move. Looks back at you. Why home?
It's a lovely home indeed. Does home have any other names other than home?
She kind of looks at you, and as you sort of compliment her home, she sort of chuckles again and mutters something under her breath. A small shack. That is all. And she kind of reaches down and picks up a sort of hobbled and gnarled walking stick and lifts herself onto her feet. You notice she has quite a hunch and sort of leans on it quite heavily as she walks over to the fireplace, reaches down, grabs a log from the very relatively small pile of them and sort of sticks it onto the embers. Kind of pokes it with the end of the walking stick slightly. Turns to look at you.
Does that staring thing again. But also kind of going, should I... Nix is just debating if she should offer to make sure the walking stick doesn't set on fire or fix it if it does set on fire.
It's no longer in the fire. She just
Okay.
sort of poked the ashes with it slightly.
Okay, good. I was worried it was going to set on fire.
Oh no.
Okay. I mean, well, if this place is called home, do you have...
It's not called home.
Not cool. Okay, what's it called then?
It's my home.
Your home. Okay.
Well, no, it's not called. Don't you have places to be? What are you still doing here?
I just woke up.
Shoo, get out!
Hey,
And she's sort of just shaking her one hand at you
what?
towards the door in a go away motion.
Are you sure? Is everything okay? Just...
Go!
Okay, I'm going. I'm so confused and so scared and concerned at the same time. Thank you.
She kind of turns back towards the pot, and you hear more muttering under her breath. Bloody youths, these.
Bye.
Kind of glances over her shoulder. What are you still doing here?
I'm sorry.
Go!
I leave very quickly.
Right.
I'm so...
As you sort of have to jump slightly to get the handle of the door to twist it open, swing open, you're greeted by just a completely grey, well, interior of a dome.
I forgot that. I stick my hand into it because why not?
Passes straight through.
I pull my hand back.
It's completely normal.
It's
Apart
fine.
from all the bite marks. I mean, what? Nope, completely normal.
No, completely fine. Oh. Okay. I walk through it. I don't like
And
them.
you'll find yourself stood on the outskirts of Fork.
You know, I thought the rat dreams were bad, but Jesus Christ. Right. I guess I'm heading back to Fork then. What time is it? I don't know.
It's early morning.
Okay. But back to Fork, I
That'd
suppose.
be about 6, 7. You feel well rested, but still sore, still somewhat injured, still somewhat tired.
But better. Okay.
It is probably by about, I'd say maybe around this time, Eryn probably does get back to the inn.
So I'm at the inn now.
You are
What time is it, roughly?
about 6, 7ish.
Okay, I run up to Ray's room and I open the door.
You are greeted with quite an angry-looking hawk.
Oh, Jesus. And I kind of sort of weirdly like tiptoe but not tiptoe over to the. Wait, is there anyone there?
Yeah, I'm sleeping.
I kind of take your shoulder and I shake you and I go, Ray, Ray.
I draw my sword.
Well, as Ray rolls over, she falls from underneath the pillow, and you'll begin to question how you don't see it at this point in time. A long sword, and it's now just kind of resting on your shoulder next to your neck.
Ray, it's Eryn. Please
Oh.
put that away.
Sorry, it's a bit of a habit.
Yeah.
What do you want, Eryn?
We need to go now. I think I found Nyx, and I need someone who uses more magic than me.
Nyx is missing.
Come on.
Did you just go to the library or something?
No,
Maybe?
I was in the library. She wasn't there. Listen, Ray, Nyx is dying, okay? She's been getting worse every single day.
I thought she would have told us if she was dying.
Well, I mean, isn't it obvious?
I mean, she's a bit tired, maybe.
Ray,
And looks like death, and looks like a walking undead. But you know.
Alright, fine. I guess I wouldn't forgive myself if something happened.
thank you.
Just let me get changed.
Alright, I'll go wake up Vincent, bye. And I run out of the room and I go to Vincent's room.
Right.
I go to the bed. Is he there?
Yes.
I kind of slap his cheek a bit.
Mm,
No.
Vincent! Vincent, wake up!
hit me harder. Mm.
Oh my god. I hate you so much.
Vincent,
I start hitting him harder. Vincent!
What is it?
Listen, I think I found Nyx. We need to.
Why do we need to go? She's always with us.
She's in a weird house and she's probably trapped in there and she's dying and I think she needs.
Did they think she was a lost kid?
I don't know. I didn't go in there. I couldn't get in there. It was enclosed.
Why do you think she's dying?
Well, haven't you seen her? We had to go to the priest to help her out. You know, she looked like she was on death.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, she's a gnome. Don't they all kind of look like that?
Listen, if you want to stay here, fine. But I'm worried about a party member, so take your pick.
Don't get all like that.
Okay, good.
We can go home.
And yeah, I guess we kind of go out the tavern.
All right, Vincent. You know you're not logged into Roll20.
Yeah, I know. My computer crashed.
I meant
No.
Lewis. Brain limited functionality right now.
You're the same people.
Don't worry about it. My computer's restarting.
Oh, fun.
I know I'm not on it. Don't worry.
Right.
Good thing Discord is still active.
My laptop is. I have D20 open on my laptop.
You mean the laptop that Daniel left?
Yeah,
That's not yours.
it's handy.
You
It's my D&D laptop now.
Wait, you took his laptop?
It's not taking, it's borrowing.
It's my D&D laptop.
I know he was a bit odd, but you can't just take his stuff.
He did leave it for us, but it's not Lewis's, it's ours.
I'm
Okay, but
confused, but I'm just gonna ignore it.
Ignore Sophie. She's randomly starting arguments for no reason.
All right. So, Eryn, you have rallied the troops who, as you sort of pace backwards and forwards downstairs in the tavern, kind of groggily make their way down. Ray, having finished putting on her armor and picking up her shield, and Vincent, having got into his own armor and sort of making sure all his weapons are in check. They kind of yawn and stretch.
Right. Follow me, and I lead them to the house.
All right.
Trying not to look sleepy.
I'm not trying to not look sleepy. Yawn loudly. With an angry pepper on my shoulder.
I will play.
All right. Let's see. So, Nix, where are you gonna go? What are you gonna do?
Just making my way.
Downtown.
Thank you.
Yeah.
To Fork, back to Fork. A little
Alright.
confused, but it's fine.
Make a. Oh God.
Oh no.
You know what? Both Nix and Eryn make perception checks.
At disadvantage.
At
Because
disadvantage.
of
Sophie.
Yes.
It's okay, my perception is great.
Ew.
Oh,
She says just before she inevitably fails.
I win.
All right. Well, Eryn, you're more focused on, terrible things happening. House, Nix, danger, must get there. Nix, as you're sort of just casually wandering along the street, contemplating the weird series of events that led you to this circumstance, you do notice that sort of just walking further down the road is the familiar sound of clinking chainmail and three somewhat familiar looking figures heading towards you.
Seeing them and realizing who it is, I wave.
See, she's fine.
Eryn
You
doesn't.
have to wake me up.
Eryn doesn't hear the first time and keeps walking.
Guys, over here. Wait, I'm supposed to be mad.
I stopped to talk to Nix while Eryn just marches past.
Quick, guys, this way!
Guys, Nix is in danger! Hello!
Hi, Nix.
She could die in a minute!
I can still hear her voice sometimes. I'm not. Stop telling people I'm dead.
Oh, he says he isn't dead. Oh, he's very close. All right, Eryn, you sort of turn to reprimand Ray for stopping in this very important time to see that she is stood next to a somewhat slightly better looking Nix, cheerily waving at you.
You know that Pikachu meme that's been going around?
Sorry, I love it. I love that face.
Eryn kneels down and gives Nix a big hug.
Confused, but alright. I didn't know
Like,
Eryn knew how to
There
give.
was a house with a
There was a
dome, and I
house.
couldn't get in.
There was
But
you
I
couldn't get in?
called, and yeah, I could. It was grey, and I couldn't see through it. And I'm really, really tired. You look fine, though. Does
Better,
she look
not
fine?
fine. She looks
Okay.
better.
Join the Tired
That's
Club.
slightly metagaming. You look better. What happened?
I don't know. It was weird. There was a house. There was a dome. An old lady. I don't know who she was. She told me to leave. I don't know. I'm confused. Just kind of woke up there and was like, hey, where is this place? And she was like, this is this place. And it was really confusing. And then she told me to fuck off.
Okay, that sounds like an interesting experience. But we're glad to have you back. We need a healer, but also we're glad to have you back.
Nice save.
What did you say? I missed that.
No, I was just quipping.
I'm so quiet. Well, I mean, yep. Hey, uh, yep, it was a weird experience. I'd rather not do that again. I mean, I slept fine, which was nice. Although, I think, I can't decide which is the weirder experience, waking up in a random house or turning into a rat.
Turning into a rat? Wait, I know about that,
You
don't
do
I?
know about that.
I always forget.
Frequent memory lapses, however.
We like to avoid the topic of it. But, hey, so, it's a great day, it's a new day. I gotta go do something. Though, glad you're okay. You go get some sleep, you look like shit.
I'm fine.
I go back to bed.
I also go back to bed.
I'm fine. Let me sleep.
All right, Ray and Eryn just about turn and zombie march back towards the tavern to go back and
I follow.
with Vincent behind.
Yeah.
Nix, what do you do?
Man, I wish I realized sooner how easy it was to get rid of you guys. Okay.
Just disappear for a night, worry them shitless, reappear in the morning, and they go sleep.
Now this. I should have done this sooner. Okay. Nix would like to go to the temple. Yes, that temple. Did I mention Nix is pissed at you guys? Haha.
I'm not too hot about Nyx at the moment either, so it's
Mhm.
fine.
I have no strong feelings one way or the other.
Except for bed. Bed is good.
Bed is life.
All right, so you head back to the Temple of Ayun.
Yes.
Well, it would be nice if my computer didn't decide to turn it off right the second which I just my mouse around, but things happen. Excuse me, just dying over here.
Don't die. You can't die. We need a DM.
Alrighty. I have way too many pages of this stuff. Not that one. That one. That one. Okay, right, here we go. So you four of you make your way around town, three off at the inn to crash back into bed for a bit of sleep. You, Nix, you slowly wander through town as you take in the sights which are happening. There appear to be shoppers making their way around the shops. Weird gadgets are on display, steam-powered thingy-mawats, jewelry, even maps are sort of being flogged out of shop doors and temporary set-up stalls. There's relatively loud hubbub, and it seems to only grow louder as the day goes on. Relatively well-dressed folk wander the city, occasionally stopping at stalls to discuss, to talk with like the people behind them. You see quite a few of them sort of sat around cafe-like things, having some drinks and seemingly discussing business. The occasional pouch of coin being exchanged for papers. There appears to be a somewhat stronger presence of the guard to which you recall than earlier. Somewhat well-armored gnomes and humans, a few half-elves, walk around the streets. Some appear to escort what appear to be weird clockwork contraptions which move on their own and follow in rather closely. However, the guards don't seem to be paying you much attention, nor are their clockwork friends. As they sort of push through, the occasional one is standing near one of the more smartly dressed figures, but other than that, nothing draws your attention too much. As you approach the three buildings to which you know as the Temple, the Crystal Arcanum, and the Library, you what is known as the quad, I should probably say, despite there only being 3 sides. It is like they form 3 sides of a square, and then the side.
Okay.
I should probably add that's why it's called the quad, but
That's okay.
it's not like they're that shit at shapes. Um, as you approach, there appears to be still the few stools sort of die away, and as you sort of approach, there's a few sort of crowds, people talking, chatting. Sort of the fancier dressed folk decrease somewhat, but it's still well dressed people. The sort of sound of chit chat and general city life rings out. And as you sort of push your way through towards the temple, you notice that there is, at the foot of the steps, uh, a little sign which is sort of set out, which states that Crystal Arcanum is holding lectures on Raven's theory of arcane and divine summoning creatures to the material.
Well, Nix was interested and liking the city and saw this and was like, the problem solver. Okay. Wait, no, Nix knows about the ethereal planes. Right. Trying to
No,
think.
it was Raven's theory of arcane and divine summoning of creatures to the material plane.
Yeah. As in, I'm trying to think if Nix could make this jump of logic. Nix, why you gotta be dumb?
What is Nix's intelligence?
11.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm really interested in this lecture, but at the same time, I kind of came here for other reasons, so maybe I'll just mention it to the guys when I get back. Maybe. We'll see. Is the temple still open?
It appears to be. A few folk are wandering in and out.
Okay.
It seems to be most of the folk are wandering to, in and out of the library and the building referred to as the Crystal Arcanum.
That's pretty cool.
I should probably mention you got the temple, you got the Crystal Arcanum, and then you got the library, and then you got the road.
This place is pretty cool. I'm gonna go into the temple. I guess. Nervously, slowly, cautiously.
Alright, so as you sort of approach the temple door, just walk around you, a fellow gnome taps you on the shoulder before giving a slight nod and just wandering in, taking up a seat and going into his own prayers. You glance around. There appears to be 1 or 2 priests.
Wait, someone tapped my shoulder?
Yeah, it wasn't like hand tap, as in sort of like just sort of sort of like walking into you, expecting you to further, sort of like shoulder to shoulder. Just sort of clipped it and then sort of just looked at you.
It's kind of like said, check my
Just gave a
pockets.
small smile and a nod, and then just sort of walked in as a sort of apology.
Okay. If it was any worse than that, I was going to check my pockets.
God.
Nix does
Yes,
the same thing.
piss off the gods even further.
It's fine. Is the high priest there?
From first glances, not that you can see.
Okay. Are any of the priests there?
Yeah, there appear to be 2. The half-elven chap who you have dealt with multiple times now. One is currently lighting candles, and the other is in a discussion with a gnome, and you would assume is probably a halfling, although looks a tad tall, so maybe a dwarf. Hard to tell. It's either a very stocky halfling or a very skinny dwarf.
Oh, this is making me nervous. Okay. I guess I approach whoever doesn't look busy, who I'm not going to disturb.
Alright, so I assume the one lighting candle?
That sounds good. That's the half elf, wasn't it?
Yeah, that is the half.
Okay.
That's,
Hmm.
as you approach, continues to light the candles. Kind of glances down, double takes, Zora realizes it's you. You hear shakes out the match and turns. How can Ayun help you today?
Good morning. Is the high priest in?
He's not currently in the temple, if that's what you're asking.
Yep. Just wanted to talk to him. You know?
Well, I believe he's currently in the crystal.
Oh, of course. Yep. I did not think this through. Sorry.
I believe he finishes around midday if you wish to come back.
That sounds good. Thank you. Thank you for the help.
If I see him, I will let you know you're looking.
Thank you.
You don't have your friends with you, do you?
No.
And with that, his eyes sort of glance around the temple quickly.
Thunderwave.
I know.
In the distance, you just hear.
The door just slams open and raises there.
Nix's rage meter goes from 8 to 9.
It's the eye twitch.
Yep. No, they're not here. I don't think much, but I'm not that dumb. I promise. I think. Right. Thank you.
Might do well to keep those ones away from temples.
No, don't. Yep. I came to that conclusion too. They are not allowed near any temples. Nope. Not allowed.
Right. Well, if that's all I can help you with.
Yes. Thank you. Sorry for the trouble again. Thank you.
He sort of sighs again, but gives you a nod, sort of like the must stay professional. He sort of pulls out another sort of wooden splint. Splint? Yeah, splint, and sort of light split. I can't remember, and sort of lights it off one of the candles and starts lighting.
Nix is so uncomfortable. Regret. Yep, I've left.
And out the temple, like a bullet out of a gun.
As fast as I can without being obvious. The others still sleeping?
Did you make your way quickly to the temple? Wander slowly.
I think it was a mixture. Like just a decent pace, but it was nice to be able to take the city in without feeling like death.
Completely dead. You just feel slightly dead now.
Yep, much more preferred. This is much better.
Well, it depends how long they're planning on sleeping.
Long.
You
Right,
are
well,
exhausted.
so Eryn's going to be out for like 8 hours.
What about Ray and Vincent?
I was woken up in the middle of the night, so I need at least a good 16 hours.
Okay. Vincent,
I'll be up. I gotta go for my morning run.
I'm assuming not in your armor.
No, not my armor.
Strength training.
Did. Just thinking about them gods.
Them gods, them dragons.
At first, I get up and send my letter with Pepper. Wish him well. I'll send him out. I'll send you what I wrote.
Certainly, and hopefully where Pepper's going.
Yeah, I send him out in the direction. I mean, you know where Highever is, right?
He has the information from you, so yeah.
Yeah, and then failing that, I give him a description of my mother, and then failing that, Wilburn. That's where I assume I got the note last time.
Sorry, what was that about Wilburn?
So failure, if you can't find my house, is I tell them to look for my mother, and if you can't find my mother, then Wilburn.
Okay.
Because I'll settle that debt later.
Certainly. So, Pepper takes the message and with the information, sort of gives a nod and flutters off into the not horizon, but
I'm
off
gonna
into the
miss him so
distance.
much.
I miss him already.
I miss him so much.
Alrighty, and then you go for your morning jog.
Yes.
All right. So what do you want to do then, Nix?
I was gonna go to the lecture because, man, I love learning and I feel guilty. But it's fine.
All right. So you make your way into the.
The Crystal Arcanum. Is that it?
So yeah. So you make your way into what is. It's not marble. I'm trying to think of the stone, and it's breaking my brain. Granite. It's sort of like made of
Yes.
the sort of like granite pillars and smooth steps kind of lead into this large set of double doors. And as you sort of slowly make your way staying around, there's a couple of sort of desks set up with a few different people sat behind them working, writing things away. You kind of glance around, there are people who clearly know what they're doing or where they're going, sort of just bustling in and going down. It's sort of like a entry foyer with the desks, two desks on either side, and it's sort of a grand staircase, and then a hallway off to the left and a hallway off to the right, and then a hallway also. The stairs split in two and then join into one and then head up, and there's a hallway in front of you as well.
Oh,
If that
man.
makes sense.
Yeah. Nix is gonna get lost. Okay. So, do I know which way it is to the lecture?
Make a perception check for.
Disadvantage, because I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Sweet 7.
Nope, not a clue.
Nope, I'm so lost. I said I was gonna get lost.
And you haven't even stepped in the front door yet.
In the front door. Guess I'm just gonna wander then. I'll find.
All right.
I'll
So
find it eventually.
you sort of step into the hall and start just wandering in.
I guess
So.
so. Quietly, because I don't want to disturb anyone. I don't know. This place makes me uncomfortable.
I know. I know.
Thanks, Nate.
Where do you go? So you got the stairs, which sort of, yeah, two of them sort of go up and then join and then go up to the main floor. You got the hallway which you came in with desks.
Wait, so which I came in here.
Yep.
So there's a way through here.
Yep.
And then
So
stairs
under the
leading
stairs
up.
on the same floor, stairs leading up, away to the left and away to the right.
We go this way.
All right. So you wander down the hall. As you sort of wander along, there's people sort of walking in and out and kind of glancing around. And you're noticing that there are actually plaques on these doors. And what languages do you speak?
I speak Common
in
and
Gnomish.
Gnomish.
Okay, so some of these you don't understand. Some of them are written in Gnomish and some of them are common.
Ooh.
But it's things very along. You're seeing a director of oh bugger, director of distant realm cartography. There we go. Cartography.
Hmm.
Things like the ethereal plane, ethereal the ethereal plane, and its denizen teacher. I'm failing at thinking of how they would name them, but that sort of stuff. It seems to
Okay,
be
okay,
very
okay.
plane related, sort of plaques describing over the rooms of like you're looking at a couple of sort of library, not so much libraries, but store, not note storage areas, rooms storing books, but not so much for public and use. A few names on doors, sort of dictating like heads of what you would assume are probably departments of education here.
Hmm.
That sort of.
My education has been mild. Um. Okay. I feel like I'm in a place I'm not supposed to be, so I'll turn around and head back.
All right, you about turn and head right back to where you started.
Right. Slash ah. 1D3. Alright, we're going through this middle bit here.
Uh, Under the stairs. Certainly.
Is that a hallway? Is it a hallway under the stairs?
It is a hallway under the stairs.
Okay.
You know what? Do me a favor and roll another perception check at disadvantage.
Hell yeah. It gets worse.
Okay, still absolutely no idea where you're going.
I'm not even sure if I went back the right way. This is the
You're
same
beginning to
thing.
get a bit turned around and a bit lost. You sort of wander down this hallway, and all of a sudden, just thump, you're just gonna walk in straight into what you're pretty sure you should be able to pass through, but you're just stopped by this invisible wall. And you take a step back and blink a couple of times and sort of glance, and you notice on each of the walls there is just a casual glowing rune, and there's a now somewhat semi-concerned yet confused elf just sort of halfway out of a door, just kind of staring at you and goes, Miss, can I help you?
Wrong hallway. Good. Exit that way?
Turn around. Just keep walking. You'll get back to reception. Is there any way you're trying to find in particular, miss?
I read that there was a lecture on?
Yeah, the signs. Go back to reception. If you're staring at the door out, turn left.
Right. Yeah.
Down that hallway, you should find another sign. I believe it's room B6.
Okay. I think I got it. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Kind of gives like a slightly awkward wave before kind of shaking his head and then walk. You hear the sort of door swing closed and lock shut behind you.
Gnomes, huh? What are we like? Okay.
All right, so your adventure thus far has
Okay.
been.
So.
God, Abby.
Did I say left? I meant right. It's meant to be
Okay.
right.
Okay, I was gonna say, so
Sorry, I was left from where I was looking.
okay.
I meant
Because if it had,
if you're looking at the door, turn right.
if it had
Is
been,
what he said.
okay.
I'm
okay.
God. I can retcon.
Okay. Right. Great. Wow, Nate abusing your god powers. Okay. So I look for the signs and head that way, looking
You know
for
what? I will allow you to make your perception check normally,
Hell yeah!
since you have informed that you're looking for
I got the same roll.
signs. Yeah, no, you have no clue
What
what signs
signs?
these guys talking about.
The heck?
You just follow his instructions. You're now heading down the hallway, looking at the door, sort of mouthing to yourself, 6B6, 6B, B6. And eventually you come to the door,
E6.
which is ajar and is labeled B6. And from the sounds of it, there appears to be mid-lecture.
Oh, mid-lecture? Oh no. Now that's a no-go.
Kind of glance and you notice that there are a few times listed on the doors for when the lectures are starting.
Oh heck, I noticed that. Sweet.
Yes, you do notice that.
Thank God. Okay. Well, I don't know what the time is. What time have we got? And it's like being back at
It's
university.
essentially
Worse.
a couple hours past sunrise. There's a break then there's a break for the lecturer to have lunch, and there's after lunch, and then there's one around sunset.
I guess we're coming back after lunch then, because there is no way I'm walking into a lecture mid-lecture. That's terrifying.
That is terrifying for both everyone here and Nix.
That is a no-go. You don't do that. I'd rather sit outside and wait for hours. Which I have done. Perhaps.
Why don't you just go home?
Wait, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, yeah, I've done that before too.
What I would do.
It's
So,
like, well, it's more like our lectures were only like an hour long, and I'd miss the beginning by like 10 minutes, so I just wait for everyone to come out. And then be like, hey, what I miss?
lecture.
Okay, it was great,
Great
wasn't
lecture,
it?
guys. Yeah.
I have had teachers been like, hey, were you in that lecture? And I was like, I was sat like 2 seats in front of you. It's great.
Of course you are.
Anyway, I guess if I have a few hours to kill, I'll just go back to the tavern. Was it called the sharp arrow? The something arrow? I wrote it down. Hold up.
I'm just gonna sit here and let you
Stray
struggle.
arrow. There it is. I knew it was an S.
Oh, I was enjoying you struggle.
Hey, no, I wrote it down.
She writes everything down. I wouldn't get too excited.
I wish I wrote everything down. I haven't written
She
anything.
wishes she wrote everything down.
I really do. I wish I understood everything I wrote. Anyway, back to the tavern. To kill time.
All right. Well, back to the tavern you go. Is everyone awake by the time she finally gets back?
What time is it?
It's probably late morning now.
Yeah, I'm scoffing down breakfast.
I'm
Yeah.
not.
I probably woke up, went downstairs, sort of grumbly eating breakfast while still not fully awake.
All right. Well, so next you enter into the tavern to find 2 of your friends scoffing breakfast.
I debate. Because I am hungry and I want food. But I don't want to sit with them. So I don't.
In my head, I'm quietly racing Vincent to see who finishes first.
Sweet. Means she's distracted.
I'm not thinking about Ray at all.
Vincent's actually thinking about skipping fields of dandelions and daisies and cutting them with his dagger as he does so.
Sophie, did you just drop something?
Nope.
Sorry, there was like a really loud bang.
It was the ghost.
It was Daniel. No, it's a bit. That's a
Don't
bit
even joke
horrifying.
about that.
I know. I'm sorry.
Do you guys like need to talk about something? Is there something like you guys want to talk? Is there pent up anger here? Do we need to have a session?
Pent up. I think I've been very clear about my anger.
I thought Eryn was sleeping.
No, guys. I think-
I'm talking
So-
about I'm talking. This is Yllka talk.
Oh, about
Yeah, I
the
thought
relationship.
about that.
I'm concerned
sorry.
about your relationship.
What? Mine and Lou's?
But see, what?
What? What relationship?
Your
Which one of the thousands?
Who?
one.
Be more specific.
You and Lewis. I'm concerned.
She's trying to do the thing that I do to her and Joe all the time.
What do you do to her and Joe all the time?
Bully
You know,
them.
it
Comment
was.
on how terrible their relationship
This
is.
is literally.
How it's failing in every aspect.
This was literally supposed to be a joke, and then it just
See, you
died.
deliver it way too seriously.
Don't pay attention to Lewis ever.
I'm joking.
I
They know I'm joking.
don't.
You just delivered it way too seriously. You confused everyone.
Sorry. Let me try this, guys. Do you need to talk about something?
I'm not sure which was
That was
better.
jazzy.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Doing jazz hands whilst you do it.
It was a stupid joke. Carry on.
He stole the laptop. I feel like it's my right to be angry.
Fair enough.
Did I win my breakfast race?
Considering Vincent is just, just slowly eating, enjoying his food, mulling over thoughts in his head, not really paying attention. Ray does indeed power eat her way past Vincent.
Yes! I'm such a god.
Nix?
I get some food and go sit at my own table, pretending I didn't see them.
Easily done.
Yes.
So? God damn it.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
god is dying. Quick, rebel.
No.
Thunder wave.
No.
Random earthquakes.
Why?
Okay, so next you're easily able to acquire food for the low price of shuffle paper. 3 silver pieces.
These silver pieces. Got it.
Actually, no, wait, you had a room, so never mind. That meal would be paid for, even if you didn't stay in your room.
Yeah, because I'd already paid for the room.
Yes. So, you managed to acquire your free breakfast and, well, already paid for breakfast and enjoying it, ignoring the fact that your friends are literally 3 tables over from you.
Yay.
The barkeep sort of gives you a weird look and sort of raises an eyebrow between the 2 tables, but doesn't say anything on it.
Awesome. Just gonna keep eating my food.
Well, if no one decides to do anything, do you guys finish your food? What do you do?
I'm still in bed.
You're still sleeping, yes.
So tired.
You did spend an entire night chasing up for her to literally just walk out of the house you were paranoid about.
Yep.
Very sorry, but it wasn't my choice. It was
That's fine.
I mean, you just taken, like, sure, I just walked out of a weird house. I'm just going to walk out. You're like, yay, she's back. I don't care about the weird house. I'm just going to go sleep.
I was exhausted. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, if you guys aren't exactly going to do anything, we can wait until Eryn wakes up,
Okay, yeah, I wake up. Eventually, I wake up.
which will be about mid-afternoon.
I want to say around noon. Okay.
Okay, around noon, he stumbles out of bed, semi-rested.
Make
Yay.
light conversation with Vincent while we wait. Awkward.
Oh, I guess.
Light conversation.
Mm,
So the weather.
Tough times we've been having. Great, good. I'm glad we're here.
Good talk. Good talk.
Good talk.
What are you saying?
Nothing.
wow,
I was
great.
just speaking to you, Ray.
Yeah. Same.
I go back to my breakfast.
So Vincent somehow manages to make his breakfast last 3 hours.
This is my third breakfast.
Ray, you're not entirely sure how.
Fourth breakfast.
I was going to say, Ray, you're not entirely sure how, but every time you look back at Vincent, there is more food on his plate.
He's
Slightly
doing
jealous.
steal his food.
Can I try and steal like a chip?
Sure, you can try and steal a chip. Are you going to stop her?
No, I want to sleight of hand this shit.
All right, roll sleight of hand. Try and steal a chip.
Who says I'm having chips? Can I roll a saving throw?
Perception check.
Saving throw.
A perception check. For... Yep.
Just a flat 20 for me.
Yeah, no, you don't notice as Ray just sort of leans over slightly to inspect your food. You kind of go, oi! And threateningly advance your fork towards her nose, and her hand quickly, without you realizing it, just grabs a chip and sort of palms it as she kind of backs off, going, no,
Such
not
a
gonna
better
take anything.
cook than you.
I'm tired. It is early.
It's like 1 p.m.
Like I
As you
said,
go to
early.
order your 5th breakfast, the bartender's like, we don't do breakfast past noon, I'm afraid.
Oh,
Time for lunch.
Lunch it is.
Expanding.
please.
I'll lay off on the breakfasts for now.
Is it because you drank so much? Is that why you're eating so much to compensate?
The alcohol just burnt a hole in his stomach. He's just eating it.
Uh,
All right. So whilst Vincent essentially inhales the food, Eryn, you do wake up and make your way downstairs.
Plop on the chair. Good morning. Afternoon.
whose chair? Their chair?
Yeah, we're on separate tables.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sitting by Ray and Vincent because I'm assuming who I saw first, given that one of them is eating loudly. I don't know.
Yeah, Vincent's just finished his 5th breakfast.
Impressive.
Yeah, well, you know me.
So, what's the plan today?
Well, if Nix is feeling better, we could probably go on the road again.
Sounds good. I'm getting bored of this town.
Yeah, same. Where is Nix anyway? She's still sleeping.
She can't be still sleeping. Well, maybe. Does one of you want to check? I can't be asked, right?
was so worried before.
My sleeping pattern's fucked.
As soon as Eryn doesn't get his beauty sleep, nope, nothing matters.
Eryn, go
Yes.
see if Nyx is awake.
Do I have to?
Yes.
I'm so. To be honest, I'm not exhausted anymore. But I'm
so
really
doing
hungry.
okay.
But Ray, I'm really hungry. I haven't eaten today. How can you wish this upon me?
Right. Fuck it, I'll do it.
Thank you. I
Um,
go to the bartender and ask for.
A lunch is provided for you. All right. Well, Ray, you get up to go find Nyx. Where do you look?
I mean, I feel like I would spare a glance around first.
What's your passive perception?
Not a lot.
Okay, just make a perception check. Just for me.
I'm debating as to whether I would hide. Probably. Just slide down on my chair. Never mind, I don't need to hide.
Where is this girl?
You forget what race Nyx is. There are no dwarves in this tavern.
Wow.
God, she's probably in the library again. You know, we'll find her at some point today.
Guys are great friends. I'm gonna tell you
I
that.
just feel like Graysor stands up, turns, and then just walks up the stairs towards the room. Doesn't even glance around.
Yeah,
So-
we'll do that. I assume I don't find anything in her room either.
You make your way up. You knock on Nyx's door. Nothing. You kind of open it, glance in. Doesn't look like the bed's been slept in.
Sleeping in the library is a bit strange.
Right?
I go back down to relay this information to my team.
I feel like Ray, as she walks upstairs, would notice a gnome sat at a table all on her own.
Oh,
She's very.
there she is.
How
Oh,
could you miss her? So obvious.
I literally heard their entire conversation about where's Nick.
What
And I
are
just sat
you-
there like, the fuck?
what are you doing over there?
It's like, I'll be right back.
Nom.
Oh, she left.
Oh, is that Ray
Eating.
T-posing?
Ray's T-posing. She's like, oh, there she is. Starts T-posing.
T-posing for dominance!
That's so terrifying. Considering how short Nix is. Oh, I don't like it. Ah! We're okay.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
I'm okay. I just broke my hand. It's fine. It was my right hand. It's okay.
Mm.
It's fine. Don't even worry about it.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yay!
What are we doing? Are we just crowded around Nyx? Like, what's something?
I broke my
Why-
hand.
We're all standing over Nyx watching her.
Oh, you guys
Just
are like...
leaning over.
I'm just slowly sliding down my chair under the table.
What do you guys do?
I want to go to that lecture. Because I want
I really want to not go to the lecture.
I don't really have any interest in the lecture.
No, me neither. I feel like we're just wasting time. Guys, there's a war going on.
Yeah, we have.
Lectures for?
We need to go to that place, right? The place in the mountains.
We need to find this weapon for the most psychotic person in our team. Most logical thing to do
Fat
right now.
DPS.
a little pent-up frustration.
I resent the term psychotic.
What term
Good
would
for
you
you.
prefer?
Would.
Playfully violent.
I don't think the term playful fits you. Malicious, but not playful.
I guess
I
we
have
haven't
never
seen
done
your
anything
playful
out
side.
of cruelty.
Mm-hmm.
Only ever personal gain.
Those can go in hand sometimes, but okay.
Hey,
Yes.
us neutrals, we stick out for each other. We know that.
That is the exact opposite of chaotic neutral. You know.
I am chaotic neutral. Like, it's fine. I'll just go to the lecture by myself then. I mean, it's about planes and stuff. Planes are cool. That summoning stuff. You ever wanted to summon a creature from another plane?
Or we can just, stop ignoring the problems of the world and like do something about it.
I like my bow.
Libraries and temples all the time.
We've been
You're just better because you have to love the gods now.
We've been.
Do not talk bad about the gods.
Do you worship a god, right?
I mean, I have a technically, what's the word?
Palor, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What are
We worship Pelor because he's the light bringer. Is that right, Nate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Seems
Hayava
good.
is based around agriculture. So, I can say my
Do
family
you-
has a connection with Pelor.
did you ever consider yourself a particularly faithful person?
Oh no, never before. Very recently, actually.
Very recently, I've been enlightened.
Um,
Forcefully, some might say. Ejected into the light.
No, I've never been shown any proof that the gods exist, so I'd never really felt the need to worship anyone.
well, that's fair.
I feel
I
like, especially
also-
with the war that's going on, I feel like they probably would have done more. But I mean, we can't talk bad about them. They are selfless, after all.
I don't know. I had a similar opinion to you for the majority of for basically the whole of my life. I've thought, what's the point of worshipping gods when there's so many horrible things happening in the world, But I feel like the recent airship journey we had has slightly changed my mind.
I forgot about that.
I think the gods work in ways that we can't really comprehend. Is this an
I'll tell you
awkward
more on that
silence?
subject in a few days. Hey, can I talk about the gods sarcastically?
You can certainly try.
Try.
Take that 5d10 psychic damage. Is it 5d10 or 6d10?
5d8.
Oh, that's not as bad.
This requires some kind of.
I was going to say,
Improv
rolled at max, Ray would just collapse, but, sarcastic comment of God poof, hits floor.
Actually,
No, we should respect the gods. They.
what's Ray's max health?
38.
Yeah, you be dead. No, you have max, yeah.
So Abby told me that my opinion of the gods hasn't changed. I just can't talk bad about them. Is that right?
Your opinion of the gods haven't changed. You just feel, essentially, you yeah, your opinions are the same. You just can't. What was the wording I used was you shall remain respectful to all religions. So essentially, like, don't you wouldn't do anything to purposely annoy them. You wouldn't purposely bad talk them,
Yeah, you can't
but
curse
you
them
can
out either.
keep. Yeah, and you can't curse, but you can essentially keep your opinions to You can keep your opinions to yourself.
Okay, so it's not like I try and say something bad and end up just like on my knees praying to their.
No. It's very much you feel like you essentially just feel a presence sort of in your mind, and as you would say, if you would like to go and you are of the understanding, if you say or go against what essentially was told to you, bad things would happen. So you're fully aware. It isn't a magic which alters the way you think. It is a magic which essentially punishes you for going against what you're told to do. It is essentially beating you with a stick if you don't do what you're told.
Fun.
Yes, mum.
So
What sort
I
of
was
mum
gonna,
did you
so
have?
I was going to say, so part of the magic makes you inclined to follow what they say, partly because there is knowledge that if you don't, bad shit happens.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, it hasn't affected the way you think whatsoever. It's just affected what you can say.
Okay, I'll stop being silly about it then.
I mean, I was going to say you can interpret it how you wish, but the spell can't. It's not a spell like suggestion, which makes you do as you say. Inclined via magic, it is a spell which is essentially it's a very strong guidance, and then just a permanent guy with a stick to hit you over the head if you don't do what you were told to do.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I just say I never really had much of an opinion of them. They never shown
I was going to
themselves
say
to me.
which. So I guess this so much falls into my interpretation. So saying like you don't have much of an opinion of them isn't being disrespectful. Being disrespectful would be like bad mouthing them, doing something
Okay.
which you know goes against them or something, like going into a temple and casting Thunderwave,
Thunderwave.
like
Right.
pissing off the clerics, that sort of thing. Like
Any
you can
cleric?
have your own opinions.
Oh, I know. So this, I can't piss off any cleric.
You cannot piss off a cleric of any god
Fuck's
for the
sake!
next couple of days.
I whack Nyx over the head. No.
As you whack Nyx over her head and astral hands.
Yes. Do it, we just do it.
Right. I knew it there. So, next. What do you say about
Forgot its duration is a month.
30 days.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Nope.
Nope.
So it's been like what?
1 day.
4? I'm counting down.
You got
It's
29.
just-
You got 29 days left before you can curse all.
It's just a month. Nothing
Wait,
in Elfie.
Like, I'm seriously gonna start disrespecting the gods. Like, they're not doing much to earn my favor. Ray says in her head.
Internal monologue. Internal monologue. Internal monologue.
Please don't deal 5d8 psychic damage. Please don't deal.
I've only got so many spell slots.
Oh man.
So yeah, next. What do you say about taking to the road again?
Oh, I should also note that you are technically charmed by the High Priest as well. So
Right.
you can't attack. You can't essentially attack the charmer, and the charmer has advantage on social interactions with you.
That's alright. I'm leaving this shithole of a town anyway.
Oh, that was quite nice.
So you
Anyway.
essentially just value. You feel like the priest has got very good guidance. That has sort of mentally changed your mind. Yeah, no, he's right. He's very good. I should do what he says, or else the big man with the stick will hit me.
Sorry.
Man, Ray's been put in her place and she doesn't like it.
About time. Sport princess.
What was that?
Yeah, she.
Doesn't matter.
I was going to say, as long as she ain't disrespecting your religion, she can say what she wants.
Haha. Wait, Nate, are you on roll 20?
I'm on roll 20.
Okay. I mean, I forgot what Ray asked me now.
Well, I mean, they were just discussing what they do, but vast majority of that was just me explaining how the spell sort of works. So, what do you guys do?
Okay. I mean, how about you guys go to Barrack Ridge? Shall I go to the lecture?
Are you seriously gonna split off from the party because you want to attend a lecture?
Well, I mean, if we keep going to Barrack Ridge, there's a very, very high chance I'll lose my soul. So, you know.
You're gonna lose your soul?
Yes.
What do you
I mean,
mean
it's
lose your soul?
Literally.
But I wouldn't go that far next.
I
I
mean,
thought you wanted to go to. I thought you wanted to go to Drakenmouth.
did you guys listen to what the priest was saying before you decided to start bad-mouthing him to his face?
He wasn't helpful.
He was very arrogant.
He was
Sorry.
very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, he does have that.
He insulted you to your face. How can you say that?
Because I insulted him to his face. I was horribly rude to him. Like, of course he's gonna diss back at me. If he'd said something as horrible about my god, I would have done the same thing.
What did you say about his god?
I am, from the favour I was asking, was implying that his god did not have the knowledge to help me, but my god, a friend of mine who serves my god did, which is rude because he serves the god of knowledge, who, oh god, what's the word? She wishes to share knowledge with others, and, sort of puts forth learning, and I don't know the words for it. Knowledge is her thing, it's her big thing. So I basically said, yeah, she doesn't know shit to his face.
Ooh, maybe you should have done that.
Well, I realised that and went to apologise.
Or you should have apologized better.
It's kind of hard to when someone starts shouting over the top of you.
Well, at least we can agree that he had a very good guidance thing around him. I felt very enlightened after our chat.
Mm-hmm. Sure you did. Alright.
I fucking hate this so much.
Don't fuck with priests then.
Stop messing
He fucked with me first!
Stop fucking with people! Your,
Actually, most spellcasters can cast that spell.
Yeah. Your actions will
High
have
level, only
consequences.
high level.
Yeah, okay, I'll
was
still
gonna say-
do this. Your actions had consequences. Wow.
Technically, it was your action.
Excuse me?
I just tried to defend you.
Seems
No.
like a bit of a misuse of power.
No. It was... You went outside and fucking cast Thunderwave. You destroyed part of his temple after insulting him. Like,
I didn't destroy part of his temple.
you badly damaged it.
I just don't like being pushed around.
I noticed.
Or insulted. Or
I
my
noticed.
friends insulted.
I genuinely think that he could have treated us with a little more respect. However, those were dire situations. We thought we were going to lose you. Can you understand why everyone was a little on edge?
I'd rather not keep talking about this.
Okay, fair enough.
Right. Well, look, okay. So, Okay, there, God.
Yep, perfectly fine. All's well.
Yeah, sorry, don't mind us. Just one of Wee Jass's many servants is currently dying in my head, and it's very annoying. Kidding, mate.
I was going to say you're not receiving whispers from from Night Hag anymore. You just hear her choking to death.
Good. Keep choking.
Good.
He's like, choke, bitch. Do it. I dare you. Anyway, okay. I'm gonna put this as simply as I can. There is currently a fiendish entity eating my soul. And the lecture is about summoning creatures to the material plane. If I can summon the fiend and kill her, then she'll stop eating my soul for a little while until maybe it's a bit easier to stop her from eating my soul.
That's actually quite a good idea.
Oh, wait, hang on. How long have you known about this, Nick?
Well, I only realized she was eating my soul when we had our lovely chat with the priest yesterday.
Great. Fantastic. So you had us up in the middle of the night worrying about you when you could have just explained to us what was going on.
I literally had no choice about being kidnapped, but thank you.
I mean, you've been unwell for the last few days. You could have said something then. You told us you were tired. You must have known something else.
I was tired. Look, we're in Fork. There's temples here. It's gonna be fine. Like, and then things just got out of hand. So now I'm trying to fix it. Let's just get this over with, and then we can go sort the bigger problems in the world out.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, Vincent. Glad you understand.
That's something that's fine. We'll kill it. Then we'll move on. Stay lovey.
Well, as you guys are sort of stood around, there's a slight scraping of a chair, and you sort of glance over, and a cat-like figure, Taxabi, sort of with grey fur and sort of streaks of white fur, stands up from a table. Realize may have been sat there for a little while. You think you recall seeing him come in. And he just kind of walks towards the door with you guys essentially stood around. He appears to be focusing on something in his pocket, and he just sort of bumps into Vincent. Oh, apologies, friend. My head was in the ethereal fog. Have a good day.
You too? That guy was weird.
I draw my sword.
He's already walking out
Yeah, no, I don't.
of the tavern door.
Be careful in case he's a cleric.
Vincent, as your hand just sort of automatically goes to check for your coin pouch, since you know the tactics, you find that there is a letter just resting in the pocket.
I leave it for now.
You have a secret admirer. Wow, someone actually likes you.
You know what? Forget it. I don't think we need to stay with this lecture.
Your only ally.
I say let him meet the soul.
I'll just go by myself. See, there's a way to summon a creature from the ethereal plane who I'm pretty sure is just right here. It's fine.
Look, I've seen you fight. There's no way you can kill a fiend by yourself.
Excuse me?
You're more of the.
You sure you weren't looking in the mirror? I haven't been doing much recently.
No offense,
It's fine.
But you can
heal.
hold yourself
That's
in a fight a lot less than any of us can.
I take a huge amount of offense to that, all things considering.
You are totally useful, but in like a supportive role.
Yeah, because I'm
Just
purposely
saying,
playing
we
supportive.
fight better as a group. it's probably
Hang on,
best
did
to just stay
Vincent
together.
did Vincent just admit that someone else has use? I'm proud of you.
I mean, look, I'm saying
You're
that
breaking your human boundaries.
their main
Very-
use is to make me better.
A little
I'm
racist
so
there.
happy right now. I don't know what you mean.
God.
Saying that your usual elvish, holier than thou attitude can get a little bit annoying sometimes.
You showed him. I say fuck it. If she wants to go fight a fiend, then let her summon anything she wants. I need to carry on. And I leave.
Okay, fine. Oh my god, spoiled people.
All right. Well,
I
Ray
know,
walks
right?
out the tavern.
What got on her bad side?
Herself.
I don't know. It's like someone woke her up in the middle of the night or something.
Like, if we find this, if we summon this fiend, then we can kill it, and then we can all move on together
Yep.
at full strength.
Yeah, let's do that. Yes, please. Alright.
But we need to figure
Yeah.
out how to summon the thing quickly because we're running out of time, and you don't have the biggest soul to begin with.
Thanks, Vincent. Great sport. I mean,
You're a gnome, so I assume this soul is small too, right?
not really. The soul isn't defined by the size of the body. It's complicated. I just leave that stuff to my god. She
Hey,
deals with it.
Vincent. Hey,
Yeah.
what use do I have to the party?
Well,
Hey,
Uh,
shit, Vincent.
How useful am I to the party? I like. I can. Can you feed my ego, please?
You're really good at killing shit, and hitting shit, and shooting shit.
No. I need to hear it from Vincent.
I mean, you're like a more cowardly version of me.
I'll take it.
Oh, I'm proud of you,
An
Eryn.
insult, human.
You didn't take that as an insult. I'm very proud.
Thanks.
I should put so much.
But I
Well-
agree. Is there someone we could talk to immediately? Because the sooner we get rid of this fiend, the better.
Well, I mean, I think the person at the lecture is gonna be that high priest. So maybe, like, wait outside if I do have
Yeah.
to talk to him. I don't think he
I'd
likes you guys.
rather not talk to him again.
I don't think he likes me either, but.
Yeah, it's probably best that I bow out of this one.
Even though you're so charismatic. Oh well.
Like if Kelly was intimidated by me before, wouldn't want to
Never
bring
know.
back those feelings.
He could put a spell on you too. Might be fun. Give it a go.
Well, the only one who can make a history check is no in the room, so never mind.
Oh no. To lecture to find out how
So
to
Nix,
summon.
Eryn, and Vincent, you're heading toward you're heading back towards the quad.
Can I just, when we walk outside the tavern, can I just do a quick look around for Ray?
Sure, perception check. Ray, where are you going? What are you doing?
I'm just wondering.
All right. The time taken, sort of quickly glancing up and down the street, you don't see Ray around.
Okay, I carry on.
All right. So you guys make your way towards the quad.
I assume so.
Is there anything you guys do on the way?
I mean,
I don't think so.
do you think if I ask the high priest, he's just gonna make fun of us again?
Seems really likely. It was pretty arrogant.
I'm thinking maybe check the library first. No, I'm wasting
I've
time
already
now.
checked the library.
Wait, you checked the library? What did you find out there?
Oh, you know, a bunch of stuff. Quickly rummages through notes.
I didn't think you liked the library.
Yeah, I had to brave it.
Oh.
All the smell of those dead trees made me not happy.
All trees.
Don't know why I'm saying this so
All
weird.
things die eventually. Might as well do something with them.
Wow. Okay.
Books open.
And I can't find my notes.
Thank goodness I wrote it down.
So yeah, in that case, I reiterate what I found out. Probably most of the stuff that will be brought up in the lecture anyway.
Well, I mean, from what you're telling me, it's more about specific fiendish creatures rather than plane travel. I just knew it was a fiendish fiendish creature that was slowly taking my soul. So no, that is helpful. You could be more specific about getting rid of it. I mean, we already met it, but we know what it is now. Right. Right. Time to ask a priest how to summon a demon.
Yep.
I do not like this plan.
Didn't he tell us to never set foot in that temple again?
Thankfully, the
I think
crystal...
he told me that.
Yeah, he told you that. Wait, sure, I went in the temple. The crystal arcanum isn't in the temple. It's fine. Haha, loopholes.
Perfect.
Alright, so you guys make your way to the quad.
Yeah.
You get there. It's probably a little after midday, right about now.
Would have just missed the lecture starting, or maybe it's just started. Okay.
So you quickly hurry into the hall and hurry to the lecture hall. This time, noticing the signs, Nix, which are clearly put out in the center of the hall with giant arrows and words imprinted on them, clearly pointing towards the lecture.
Why do people put them so high up? Jeez, it's a gnome town.
Raven's Theorem lecture. And as you sort of get there, you sort of stick your head round the door. There doesn't appear to be many people sort of sat in the stands, but there is a humanoid figure stood sort of at the front, sort of wearing longish robes. Sort of just shuffling through a few pages in front of him, sort of glancing back at the chalkboard, checking a few things, glancing back down.
Is it the high priest?
No.
Thank fucking God. Alright, so he's not in the middle of a lecture, he's getting ready for it?
Seems to be getting ready for it.
Okay.
It's relatively probably tall for humans, but sort of not too tall. Has very sort of angled features, pointed ears, and you notice quite a sort of flat nose, relatively long sort of black hair, and a more sort of reddish brown skin color.
Huh. Okay. I approach quickly. If the others want to come, they can, because it's not the high priest, so we're safe.
I'm still staying outside.
Oh.
gonna stay outside too.
No.
So
Bye.
Nix
I'm believing you,
approaches
Nix.
on their own.
It's okay. Okay.
The man seems to be sort of mumbling under his breath slightly, sort of flicking occasionally back at the blackboard, grabs a bit of chalk, actually scratches, quickly scratches a few things in. Sound of chalk on a chalkboard. Appears to be writing a sort of few runes onto it. Kind of glances back at his notes, glances back at it, kind of smears one part of it slightly, and then kind of redraws. Then seems a bit satisfied and goes back to flicking through his notes.
Hello.
Hello. The lecture will start in a couple of minutes. Feel free to take your seat.
I mean, I'd love to sit for the lecture, but I wanted to ask something first. If you're not too busy.
Sure. What are you looking to ask?
Well, so the lecture is about summoning things to the material plane. Yes?
Well, it's on Raven's theorems to do with calling creatures to the material plane, but in terms simplifying, you would be more talking about the conjuration of beings to serve on the material plane for a time, yes.
What about something specific, like a fiend that's currently haunting you, so you want to summon them so you can kill them to stop them haunting you for a little while?
Well, that's a weirdly specific subject.
I like specifics.
Well, you're talking. Okay, so you're probably not quite up. So the whole to do with that sort of form of conjuration, it's very hard to target. And even with that, it's not really full proper conjuration due to the fact that they're not fully on the material plane. They sort of are, but they aren't. They're still somewhat on their own plane. When they're defeated here, they return back to their own plane. But yeah, I won't get into that. What you're asking is forcibly transporting a creature to this plane, which, to be fair, does fall under the school of conjuration. However, you're talking very, very difficult and very complex. If this creature is haunting you, your better plans would be, well, assuming haunting, I would take to mean is on the ethereal plane.
Yes.
Your best bet would be to look at things to try and trap this creature in or out of magical force is constructs out of pure arcane force permeate both the material and the ethereal border ethereal plane, and ethereal beings struggle to get through it. It's some of the more complex and he sort of starts to ramble on the protection magic's put into essentially keeps and palaces, and how there are spells which can essentially create wards which permeate into the ethereal plane, which can stop people striding through what would be solid objects on the material plane, since they don't exist essentially on the ethereal. And he's beginning to ramble on, essentially.
Nyx is trying so desperately to keep up. So desperately. But is getting distracted.
Beyond that, you can also restrict planar travel to certain locations by manipulating the weave in such a way not appear quite where they wanted. You sort of kind of force it apart slightly, bending it, forcing them to appear outside of the area to which you have warded. Now, again, is you're talking quite difficult.
Okay.
I hope that somewhat answers your question.
It's given me food for thought. I'm not great at thinking, but I'll do my best.
Certainly. Well, I'd any more arcane queries? Well, you've got a great resource where you currently stand.
It's incredibly impressive. Yep. Yep. Can creatures on the ethereal plane move through solid objects if they're solid on the material plane?
Yes, that is why I was suggesting that you would. Bit of
That's
arcane.
right. Yeah.
Solid objects on the material plane have absolutely no effect on theory, and so is the concept of staying on the ground. You can quite easily just walk downwards,
That's pretty cool. That's really
or
cool.
just walk upwards.
Walk up.
However, when you transition back into the material plane, the normal rules come back into play, so don't do that when you're part way through or something kind of gruesome
I can imagine that. Well,
and painful.
Well, great.
Now, I'm sorry to hasten you along, but my lecture is about to start.
Yep, no, that is great. Thank you for the help. Just gonna go talk to my friends, cause
As he was essentially rambling on, ranging from quite young, a few slightly old notebooks, pens, the whole student thing.
another thing. Oh man, the whole student thing. Quickly leave. Quickly make my way back to the others. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Is there anything Eryn and Vincent do whilst Nick's having a somewhat prolonged conversation?
Just tapping my foot,
I'm sorry.
looking around.
Hang my head back and boredly wait.
I'm sorry.
All right, next you find Vincent just kind of exasperatedly staring at the Eryn just tapping his foot, and you think if he does it for much longer, he'll start wearing a boot or the floor.
Okay. Sorry, but I didn't stay for the lecture. It's okay. We can go. Let's go.
Right, well,
That was half helpful. Hey, Eryn,
yeah.
you said the house you followed me to, you couldn't get into it?
No, I tried, believe me.
Like the weird sphere?
Yeah, it was a dome, a grey dome, completely not. You couldn't see through.
But I could stick. I went straight through it. I walked right out of it.
So you were in there.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's odd.
Yeah, some random lady. I don't know. I just woke up there.
Do you think she would have answers?
I think so. Like, I'm just. It, the whole. It reminds me. The dome reminded me a little bit of. Well, I have a magic circle spell. And I don't know, like. It reminded me a little bit of that. I can't use the magic circle spell because it's expensive. But it, like, blocks creatures and stuff, kind of. I'm wondering if maybe she had magic like that. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws.
Could be worth a try.
Yeah. Also, like, I slept really well. And I'm wondering if that's because the weird creature who I hate with my entire being couldn't get in. I don't know.
Could be worth a shot.
Yeah. If you think so.
And I would really like to see what's inside that weird.
Cool. It is a very weird bubble. The shack itself was pretty shack-like. Just a lady. It was just an old lady. Oh, but her eyes were the same color as the weird
Shall
fellow.
we head over?
Yeah.
All right. You make your way out of the crystal, out of the quad, and back along the road, back out to the south of Fort, where you found this weird shack, where Nix, you found yourself waking up, and Eryn, you tracked next to this weird shack. Ray, what are you doing?
Okay, so I'm gonna walk out of Fork. Is there like a wooded place?
Not really. It's mostly fields. Which way do you walk out of Fork? Also, out of curiosity.
One second. I'd say
So essentially, you can go out that way, or that way, or that way.
yeah, downwards.
Downwards, so south.
Yeah, not the
Okay.
way we came from. I feel like
So the
not
way
too
which
far.
Eryn was leading you before you found Nick.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Harry, are you okay?
There are no trees at all or anything like that.
I mean, there's the odd tree, but there's no. There may be a copse, but you're probably looking about. In the close vicinity, it's mostly farm fields, livestock.
Okay. I go to one of the rare trees.
Okay. You're able to sort of find a tree which is, after walking for a fair distance out of, avoiding some fields, you kind of come across a tree sort of near the side of the road and not in a field, which you can kind of sit down at the base at.
Okay, well, I take Eclipse out, turn it into a battle axe, and start just hacking away at the tree.
Okay.
And I thunder wave twice, and I just let out all kinds of pent up frustration. I'm just going at it.
Hooray.
The poor tree.
Well, I don't. Are there any livestock near me before I thunder wave?
Not too close. Not close enough to cause harm, but maybe you might spook one or two.
That's alright. I do it twice.
All right. Well, you attract some sort of what originally is curious as this woman is battle axe tree too quick. No, don't look at her. Keep walking. Sort of attitude.
You're cutting out quite bad, Nate. I'm not sure if that's just for me.
No, I'm getting it as well.
God damn it. And so you essentially attract some attention of people who sort of look at you a bit weirdly as you're sort of battle axe against the tree. And then when you start sort of letting off the thunder waves, that quickly becomes a very much sort of eyes down, don't look at her, nope, nope, just keep walking sort of attitude.
Yeah, I keep doing it. I just until either the tree breaks or I do.
Make a constitution saving throw.
+5, it's not bad. Sorry.
With an 11, you begin to tire, but the tree looks like, well, it looks like it's been attacked by about 1,000 woodpeckers at this point.
I'm
But
strong.
you kind of sit down, and as you sort of lean against the tree, you're sort of hearing it creaking and cracking.
Okay, I don't sit against it. I just lie down in the grass. Just like.
All right. Back to Vincent, Eryn, and Nix.
To the
So,
weird
how are we
fella.
going to start this thing?
What did you say?
I asked how are we going to summon this thing? Because we don't
Well-
really have a lot of time to consider options.
Well, we can ask this lady, and if she can't help us, panic.
Yeah.
Panic and cry.
Yep, that sounds like a pretty good plan. Oh, well, so it's really hard to summon such a specific entity, especially one whose true form doesn't exist on the same plane as ours, or plane similar to ours. But it is possible to trap them in a bubble of sort that can stop them from passing through. So if we trap them in there, it could force them to the material plane, and then we can kill them, or just leave them, get as far away as
Okay.
possible. Or we can go in there, and then they can't get in there. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, sounds good.
To be honest, this is more your area of expertise, so I'm kind of okay with surrendering the reins.
Yeah, me too.
I wouldn't really call it my area of expertise, but I'm trying. Well, so yeah, and the old lady had a weird bubble that stopped some people getting in, but let some other people get out. So I'm wondering if maybe she'd teach us or use it for us, or I don't know.
By this point, you sort of come to the hut to which you had found Eryn woken up in Nick's never seen before Vincent. It just appears to be a normal hut,
There's no bubble.
no bubble.
Ah, shit. Do you think she left?
I mean, we might as well go look.
True. Okay, let's go look.
All right. Well, you approach the house. There doesn't appear to be any signs of life on the inside.
Let's knock on the door.
As you reach forward and sort of knock, the door just swings open slightly.
This place is creepy.
You kind of glance around. Doesn't appear to be anyone in, but the fire's still going.
Is
A
the
couple
pot,
of logs have been placed on it, and a few more logs have been brought in from when you last saw Nix.
is the pot still there?
Yeah.
Okay, so the pot is still. That pot was there when I was here earlier, and the fire was going when I was here earlier. But the lady's not here.
Well, shit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Now what?
Panic?
Roll a perception check.
Panic.
Which one of us?
Whoever's looking in.
Erin's hyperventilating.
Just having a panic attack.
I thought I was being serious, Deb. Oh man. We're all blind.
Might Eryn want to roll a perception check as well?
Yeah.
Please.
1 sec.
Please save us.
Let's go.
Okay, as
Oh
you begin
wait.
to hyperventilate, your eyes begin to unfocus, and as they do, you notice something, and you kind of catch your breath and look, and you notice on the rocking chair in the corner appears to be a few pieces of, a few things. One which is glinting, and you sort of look around, push the door slightly further open, and kind of stick your head in and look, and what appears to be 3 different holy symbols just lying on the rocking chair.
I walk over and try and inspect them.
Alrighty. I need to remember which ones look like.
Roll initiative.
Roll initiative as the old woman attacks.
I'm sorry, I came back. I'm sorry, I called this place creepy.
All right, so the first one which you notice appears to be a sort of golden. It looks like a P, but it is missing the back part of the circle, and there instead there's an I, and I'm just going to draw this because it's so much easier to draw today. It looks essentially like that. The second, I have way
I'm
too many
very
tabs
impressed with that drawing.
open. Why, thank you. Can you tell I've been practicing?
Yes.
The second appears to be a wooden, actually a wooden disc, circular disc with a curved line, and above it, an upside down crescent. And finally, the last one appears. Oh god, this one I am going to struggle to. It appears to be a very crudely made dragon biting its own tail.
Okay.
Do I recognize any of these? That's a very interesting portrayal.
Look better if I had more time. Let's see. Make a
Religion, did you say?
religion.
I recognize one.
You recognize one, namely this one. It was in the temple of the high priest you pissed off.
Oh,
Yay, got it right.
let me guess.
You're looking at a holy symbol of Ayun.
Yay. I have one of her stones.
Hey Nix,
Yes.
you recognize any of these? I think that one is most likely Ioun. Don't know what the other two are.
That is
Religion
definitely
check next.
Iams. I was gonna guess myself, but sure, I'll make it.
Oh wait, what were you guessing?
Um,
I'm
this
curious.
one over here. I'm thinking, is that Akatosh? No. Oh, it is.
No, this is just what
No.
you're guessing.
Oh, or Pelor. No, it's not Pelor.
And the other one?
Guess maybe that one's Pelor Rising Sun, or it's oh, wait. Or God, what was the traveling god? I mean,
I'll just put travel.
the traveling god, or
Right, now do you want to roll your religion check?
yes. It's disadvantage still, right? So
Mm-hmm.
well, really? Come on.
You know what? I'm going to be kind. You're actually correct. It is indeed Akatosh and Fargan.
Oh, that's his name. Yay! I remembered.
You
have
mean my
travel-
god?
The traveler on the horizon. Yes.
You're saying
Yes.
I didn't recognize the symbol of my own god?
Yes, I am saying that.
To be fair, I don't know why
They-
I would.
As gods go by several symbols. These are the most
Oh.
common. You might know him by something else.
So wait, how do you pronounce his name? Farangon?
God, don't ask me. Afar and Lagan.
Farlagen. Okay. Gurrenlagen. Perfect. And Akatosh. Yeah. Thoughts. I'm so glad I guessed it right. I didn't think I would. Okay. So I tell Eryn what they are. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little confused because I don't remember seeing these when I was here last.
Oh, that's odd.
I don't remember the woman having any. So one of them, so the travelling one is wooden.
Eryn, you would know that most of the holy symbols of Farum actually
Actually, what? Sorry.
they aren't actually made of metal. Most of them are actually,
Wood. Oh, so
partly due to the fact that he rarely stays in one place, so it sort of seems the taking you time to smith and craft them is kind of like somewhat going against it. So it's sort of be more like on the road whittling is
Okay.
more sort of the thing which he would do. So it makes sense for it to be made of wood.
And then what were the materials of the other two again?
Oh, the other two are the Ioun one appears to be a sort of a simple metal stained to be more sort of reddish, not reddish, stained to be a sort of goldish color, and the and the dragon would be Akatosh's would be stained to be reddy gold. It is not finding the holy symbols when they're stained is essentially very either a very devout follower or someone from the temple would own them.
Okay. Wait.
Normally it would just be sort of like a plain
devo-
metal just forged into the shape.
It's interesting that she has 3 symbols. Like, I mean, even for priests, we normally just, clerics, we sort of believe in them all, but focus on devoting ourselves and our time and effort to one of them. Oh, saying that, I guess I do have a symbol of Ouija's and then one of iron stones. So, Ioun is the goddess of knowledge. Faralagan, whoever that is, that one, the one I can't pronounce,
Traveler on horizon.
is the god of traveling.
Traveler on the horizon.
The traveler
Isn't
on
it
the horizon.
Balang?
Oh no, let me check.
Nope. This world, it's going to be pronounced the way I pronounced it because fuck it, I'm not changing it.
Faranlagan.
There you go.
It's not even spelt that way.
It's Gurren.
Dyslexia.
It's Gurrenlagan.
Are we talking about the anime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say that would be part of the reason why my brain probably decided to pronounce it that way. But anyway, it's going to be called that from now on, unless I forget.
Akatosh is the god of dragons and time. I did remember that before I went to check Faranlagan's name. He's just changed it to Faranlagan.
Yep,
Like-
it's now going to be that.
Like Gurrenlagan, but Faranlagan.
Yep.
Okay.
Go away, Ladybug.
I don't get how they're all connected. I hate being stupid.
Vincent. What are you doing?
I'm still with them at this point. I don't know.
You just stood there as they're semi-nerding out about religion.
Yeah, rolling my eyes and wondering why I came along.
Ray?
I'm just lying there thinking, crying a little bit.
Oh, Ray. Why you gotta go off alone?
Why you gotta be so...
Why you gotta be so spoiled?
Alright. So, You've seen these three pretty well crafted holy symbols.
Okay. I'm gonna try something here. I'm gonna pull out my own, sort of put it down with them, put my hand there, and just sort of reach out with using my divine powers. I don't know.
Nothing seems to come of it.
Great. Yep. I don't know why I expected anything else. Well, guys, back to panicking. I don't know. I mean, okay, we could. God damn it. I feel like I'm just making this go back and forth, and just wasting our time. Like, if I don't, then my soul's just gonna get eaten, but then I'm not smart enough to stop it getting eaten or taken, whatever it is they do. Man, why the night hag gotta be such a bitch? You guys got any ideas? Cause I'm all out of them. Nope, you're still
Honestly,
panicking.
I've got no idea. I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. I feel so. I can't imagine what you're feeling.
Hey.
I feel so helpless.
Life like that, I guess. Well, I mean, let's see. Good. I have no spells for this. Yeah, none of these will work. Oh, no. I have nothing. Maybe we should go find Ray. Maybe Ray can figure it out. She's educated. She went to school, right? Or had tutors, teachers. Don't rich people hire people to teach their kids?
Probably, I don't know.
Guess we go find Ray.
Alright.
No, I'm not gonna take the symbols. That feels mean. They're her symbols. I'm not gonna steal them. I want them.
I'm very tempted to take Farlagan's symbol.
Fire and
Pronounce
Larkin.
it however you wish. Pronounce it however you wish.
Okay. I'm very tempted to take a symbol. I'm gonna pick it up.
Alright.
Do I feel any different?
Not entirely. You glance at it, it's a very well whittled holy symbol.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop it.
Was that pocket it, sorry?
No, actually, no, I'm not gonna pocket it.
Okay.
No,
I'll leave it.
No, I was generally just clarifying because my ears were. I didn't quite hear it properly.
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm gonna leave it.
Okay.
But
so
I will note that I've tried to memorize the shape.
It's very simplistic. It's just a wooden disc with a slightly curved line and an upside down crescent.
Fab.
So you could easily carve it.
Just like it was very fine, sort of whittling, very hard to see sort of looks done to it. All right, so you walk out of the house. The light blinds you ever so slightly until you head back into fort.
To look for Ray.
All right. Well, do you want to roll investigation checks then?
Yay! Jesus Christ, Aaron.
Let's go.
I got a 10. Jesus Christ, you guys.
Not 20.
All
What
right.
is it with you
So,
two? Just have like a Ray sensor? Are you tracking
so
it?
just so Eryn, Vincent, you follow the smell of angst. I mean, you guys make your way through. You sort of stop and ask, people, ask people if they've seen a woman. So you head back to the tavern. You sort of ask people if they've seen a woman traveling by, and much to your surprise, quite a few people end up sort of pointing you in the direction. You kind of weave your way through the crowded marketplace, sort of shouting prices, trying to persuade you to come over, buy some sort of fresh products. Next, you happen to just bump into a person, sort of apologize, back away, and as you double take, the woman looks very familiar.
As in, haven't seen as.
You're
Yeah.
Pretty sure you woke up earlier this morning to her leaning over you. But as you sort of bump into her, she seems to show no ounce of recognition of you.
Oh, because you can't see. Wait, her eyes?
No,
Oh.
her eyes are perfectly clear. There is no grey fog over.
I grab it. Eryn, smack his leg. Hey, hey, hey.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Oh my god.
What?
yeah. Can I help you?
I'm sorry I exist. Jesus.
I'll just go die then, shall I?
Yeah. It's like that's what you want me to do. It's fine. That was her. That was the lady, or looked like that lady.
Huh?
Yeah.
I walk up to the lady
Oh, no.
and I
She's
kind
just
of.
sort of hobbling along using the walking stick, carrying a small basket with, which, as you sort of glance over, appears to have a cabbage, a couple of carrots, a few potatoes.
Excuse me, miss.
Yes?
You wouldn't happen to know my little friend here, would
Oh, you don't look too good. You may want to go see a Dr. Deary. She sort of reaches out and
Well, I went to the dogs since they can't help. It's,
oh,
weird magic
terrible
stuff.
shame. Yeah, they can't help me with my back either.
Oh, that is a shame.
Yeah, age. And with that, she just starts wandering off, just slowly hobbling along.
I'm so confused.
Are you sure that was
Yes.
her?
Although she spoke very differently. It was a lot nicer this time than when I woke up. That was
Yeah, Eryn looks very confused.
that was the same woman. That was the same stick and the same voice. I think.
No, the voice sounds different to you.
Voice sounds different to me. Eryn. Her voice was different. What if she was possessed?
What if you just got the wrong person?
Oh.
She's very distinctive.
I was gonna say. I mean, yeah, I could just be wrong. I mean, I'm not super great with people. Haha. Still think she
It's
was
okay,
possessed.
I understand, but okay, alright, sure, let's go with that.
Well, anything can happen in this world.
While they're doing this, can I read the letter that I got earlier?
Oh yeah.
Kind
Okay.
of secretly.
As you pull the letter out and flip it over to read it, you notice that this is actually sealed. There is red wax and there is a seal pressed into it. You kind
Do
of
I recognize the seal?
good question. Let's see. Roll an intelligence check. looking at it, parts of it seem somewhat familiar. You can't really place it, but you think you've seen something to it rather recently.
Okay. I'll keep opening the letter.
All right. You sort of slide your finger under, and it unsticks itself from the parchment, still sticking to the top of it. And
It explodes. And you take 10d10 damage.
and there you go in Discord.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
you're killing me. Literally. It's fine. It's fine.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay,
Holy shit.
I keep it to myself for now.
You're giving it to yourself? Okay.
All right. So, Eryn,
That's fair, actually.
and Nyx, you're still having this conversation. A woman just kind of totters off further into the market and heads towards what appears to be a vendor with a few rabbits hung up on his stand.
I wonder if she even lives in that hut. Maybe it was just like a weird secret place. Oh god. Oh my god, this is going. Can I check my stuff? Do I have my stuff? I've not been robbed, have I?
No, you appear to have everything on you that you should have.
Okay. That's good.
Can I try and call Eryn?
Well, as Nyx is sort of just quickly tapping and patting herself down, you just lightly tap Eryn on the shoulder without noticing.
Yeah.
Come over here. I need to talk to you about something.
Sure. I get a bit wary, but yeah, I follow.
Pull her to one side.
Him.
And I'll him. Sorry. And at first I'll just show her the seal and ask her if she recognizes this.
Eryn, you can make a intelligence check yourself. Actually, for you, make it wisdom. Make a wisdom check.
Ooh.
Why the hell don't I have wisdom? Oh, because I call it as whiz. Check. Yeah.
Whiz.
Should be +2.
Yes, I'm rolling so well today.
Oh, man. You lucky son of a gun.
Okay.
I hear that satisfaction in your voice.
This does seem familiar. And you can actually, your brain quickly susses together why. You've seen this around town a fair bit. Or not quite this. Where this appears to be, it appears to be a sort of axe-shaped shield, which I'm freaking draw because it's the best way I can describe it. It's essentially sort of like that. That was a terrible rendition of it, brain.
What's that?
Hang on.
Sorry, that
Drawing the
sounds
shield
like
of
something very
pain.
different.
Aaron's just hyperventilating again.
Yeah, hang on.
Dick.
Ah, shit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so glad
Sexual
it was-
reawakening.
That shit, I was drawing it wrong anyway.
I'm so glad I wasn't the
In
only
my
one that saw
brain,
that.
it wasn't right. And it looks a bit like that. So you can see what I mean by axe-shaped shield.
Yeah.
In the center of it is what appears to be, as you can't go into too fine a detail in a signet ring, but from what you can see, it appears to be a seemingly sort of skeletal-like wing, so sort of essentially like that. Now, what you, Eryn, recall seeing around is something similar. It has the axe-shaped shield, but rather in the center. Shit, brain. In the center, instead, it's normally what you're pretty sure is a cornucopia. And the reason why you've seen this around town is because it's one of the deities which the town has a temple devoted to. And that deity is Yondala.
Okay. Yeah, I recognize that, and I tell him that it's. I've seen it around the temples of Yondar.
Okay, well,
Where did
somebody
you?
slipped me this note while we were around town, and I'll give him the note at this point, so that he can read the full thing.
All right.
Can I see it?
It's in the Discord.
Oh. Okay.
I think everyone else has read it.
Oh. God, I thought you sent it to him. PM.
Nah, I couldn't be asked to try and PM it to him.
Oh. Sorry.
And also,
Get into character. Oh.
I was going to say also, guys would shout around, so.
Oh.
Yeah. What do you make of that? How much do you think we could get for her?
Oh god.
Quite a decent amount, probably. No, come on. We've been floundering for hours. This is a lead that could potentially get us out of this mess.
Do you think we tell Nix?
Yeah, probably.
I know she can be a little bit stubborn. Do you think
Yeah.
she'll want to go?
You have a good point. Well, I mean, if we don't tell her, how do we, shall we just go?
I don't know. Maybe we should just tell her and hope that she'll at least
sorry, I forgot.
go and see what they want.
I forgot one other thing. You've also seen a slight variant. Since you were crawling around in back alleyway, you've seen a slight variant of this yet again. Same shield shape, but instead feathers. And you've seen that on plaques on buildings.
Okay, I tell him this as well.
I mean, it's interesting. This symbol seems to have some relevance to this town. I mean, maybe we could go see them first and see what they want. But is that wasting time we don't have?
It's a good point. This could be some sort of elaborate trap. I don't know. We're getting desperate. I think we should just take.
Okay, so we tell her and hope.
Hope, yeah. It's all for her benefit anyway.
Okay.
Next, at this point, you do realize that Vincent and Eryn have sort of gone off to the side as you finish patting.
I raise an eyebrow but ask no questions.
What's that supposed to mean?
What's what?
Nothing. Never mind.
You okay? You guys good?
Yeah, I'll walk over to Nix and show her and hand her the letter. I won't say anything at first.
Okay. Just take it and read it. Do I recognize the symbol?
Make a wisdom check.
Yeah.
Disadvantage.
Disadvantage. I just want to roll everything at disadvantage today.
It's a check rather than a saving throw.
That's a sweet 5 there.
You've been pretty out of it whilst you've been wandering around this.
What? Okay, I will just read the letter instead. I will
And read it. Do.
read it. I do. Huh. Wait. What? How? What? Okay. So, someone's been following you? Us? Whilst all of this has been happening?
Yeah, I suppose so.
I don't like
It is a bit shady, isn't it?
It's very shady, but thankfully, I love shady things. Sure, why not? Fuck it. I'm a little wary about why they're so interested in this night hag, but at the same time, I kind of want her dead. I kind of want this over with. Just want to get on. I just want to go back to just sitting back and keeping you guys alive without having to worry about anything else. I mean,
Sounds
So?
good to me.
if you guys want to go, yeah.
Okay, then I think we should go.
Here's your letter back. Thank you for sharing it with me.
It was our intention all along.
Make a deception check.
Oh no.
You're so
Why would you do this to me? Oh my god.
Nix, make an insight check at disadvantage.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh.
Nix, you see straight through it.
Thanks for sharing it with me.
No problem.
It's fine. I would have considered the same thing.
So,
Fair.
what do you guys do?
Shady shit.
Shady shit.
Shady shit. Shady shit. Wow.
All right. So you just leave Ray to be lying outside town, right?
Oh, we
I
don't
mean,
know.
we can go get her first. She'll
Oh,
be
yeah.
important in a fight if we get into one.
All right.
True.
So, continuing on with your natural 20s, you are perfectly able to find Ray lying in a field, near a field,
God.
next to a tree which has by this point fallen over,
Oh,
not on top of her.
I was about to say.
She's lying nearby to what appears to be a very recently battle-worn tree lying near her. And you see a lot of people just giving her a wide berth.
maybe, maybe pick a fight with something that can actually defend itself.
Oh, hey guys. How you doing?
Ray.
Yeah.
Right.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Just a tough training session. Got to keep my upper body strength going, right? And someone's got to pack a punch in the fight.
Is there something you want to talk about? Because you know that we are all very good at talking.
Yeah. I know you're all great listeners. I'm good. What did you find? What have you been up to?
How was the lecture?
Wait. Was that you just being snarky, Nate?
Well, I was more reminding that the last Ray knew was that you guys were going off to a lecture.
Okay. I was just like, oh shit, who snuck up on us?
No, no, no.
Like-
that was God just go.
Damn it, God.
Last thing she knew, you were going to a lecture.
Yeah, it's going good. I just wanted to come see how you were doing. 'Cause we were gonna go see if we can kill a fiend.
And we need you because we are all, well, me and Vincent are very squishy.
Last I heard, Nyx can deal with this herself.
Okay.
Can we start with the teenage drama, please? Really getting in the way of our money making.
I didn't ask
I
you to come and bother me. If you guys want to go and fight demons on Nyx's behalf, that's great. I don't want a part of it.
Okay.
Vincent, how do we deal with
I mean, we can't make her do anything she doesn't want to do. That'd be moody.
Let's just go do shady shit on our own.
really proper, like, juicy, shady shit with money? Lots of money.
Nah, she's too posh of a princess to want to do shady shit.
How much money?
Like lots.
I get a lot of it.
You get your quarter.
Fine, whatever. I've got nothing else to do.
Cool.
And the trees of this fair land rejoice.
If you want, Vincent, I could practice on something else. Or someone else.
Should we just go?
Wow, so nonchalant.
Let's just go. Let's go.
All right. Excuse me, just dying in the cold.
Damn it, God.
So, you make your way back through town, and through Eryn's late night panic attack, running around town like a headless chicken, Nyx's semi-conscious wanderings, and now also Ray's wanderings through town. You guys actually have some idea what this tavern is, and as you make your way there, you sort of start heading towards the back alley. As you sort of turn towards it, you notice that there now, well, there are two guards just stood there. As you approach, they seem kind of bored. One's slouching against the wall, sort of their armor crinkling slightly. Whilst the other one's just sort of yawning and leaning on his halberd. As you approach, he just goes, "Oh, I'm afraid no one's allowed down here."
I nudge Vincent.
I was supposed to say, Vincent.
What was that? Sorry?
No one's allowed down here. Sorry, mate.
Why is that exactly?
He kind of just takes a step to the side, lowers the halberd to stop you from across, but gestures, and you see the. Well, you know what? Make some perception checks.
All of us? Oh man.
All of you who are looking down the alley.
I got a 5.
I got a 2.
Is Ray looking down the alley?
Nope.
Okay.
She's sulking.
Vincent and Nix, you see what appears to be a very fine fur dropped on the floor. Eryn, you see the Taxabi who walked into Vincent with their throat and stomach ripped out.
Um,
Oh,
So
And with a 16 from here, it appears to be a lot of small claw-like gashes.
Vincent,
yeah.
isn't that the one who talked to you?
Uh, is it? I don't know. They all kind of look the same.
That is so incredibly racist of you. You should be ashamed of yourself.
are we all just racist? Is that what this group is?
It's like one of the guards pipes up. To be fair, they do share the same pelt color. Some of them. The other one sort of
Yeah.
kicks him and goes,
Mm.
"What? It's true."
Lots of people. I'm not going to continue that sentence. Right, well,
I mean, fortunately for us, we have business down that alleyway, and
Or
very
with
much
a
by the
dead
looks of it,
body.
he's not going in. Well, I mean, he's not going anywhere, so I'm sure you can allow us to at least briefly look at the person. Look,
Why
I
do you
mean,
want to look at
honestly,
him?
do you care? Like, really? You've had a long day. You're clearly tired. Do you
Make
really
a
mind if us
persuasion
this morning?
persuasion check, please, Vince. He kind of leans forward, looks down the street, turns his head, looks down the street again, and goes, "All right, 5 minutes, just you. Don't touch anything too much. I'm going to be
Thank you.
stopping people going down and poking around so we can get some better information on it." And he sort of just lifts and kind of gestures for you to go quickly.
I go reasonably quick.
And he kind of shuffles back into place and kind of leans on 5 minutes.
I rather unsurprisingly search the body and try and ascertain anything I can about what happened.
All right, well, closer up, you do notice what Eryn saw from far off, and the stomach is to be ripped out by claw-like markings, a lot of sort of thin gashes upon it. These actually, yeah, no, I'd say these wounds remind you somewhat. Bring back a few sore points. Your arms twitch slightly and your back. The Taxabi is wearing relatively normal clothing. You sort of glance around, the guards aren't paying attention. Pat the body. Appears to be a coin purse with about 15 gold and 7 silver.
Okay, well, I mean, I pocket the gold.
Kind of check around. Doesn't appear to have any more. Doesn't appear to have any more notes of the sort on it. There does appear to be a sheath for a dagger, but the dagger is nowhere to be seen.
Hmm. Okay. So not a whole lot that's useful to me right now.
You sort of check the paws. There appears to be what may have been a ring sort of on the finger once, but that's been removed.
Okay. I'm assuming that's about it.
That's about it. Yeah.
Okay. I'll leave the body alone as it is for now. Can I sort of search the alleyway? Is there anything?
Make an investigation check.
we're detectives again.
Not very good ones.
All right, you glance around. The alleyway seems to be sort of scuffed, scuff marks. You notice on one of the sort of bricks low to the ground, is a similar symbol to the one of the seal. And you remember Eryn making mention seen a similar symbol, but instead with feathers. This does appear to match what he was talking about on some of the buildings. It would be on the inn itself. Other than that, you can't really see anything other than of a fire and a lot of blood.
Okay. Cool. I'll leave it there then for now. I'll head back to the others.
All right. As you sort of approach the front of the guard, he kind of stretches, steps out the way, and kind of just pushes you forward slightly before. I hope you. Just if my
Yes.
if my boss asked, I didn't let you do that.
Of course.
Go on, you have off.
Should we go somewhere?
Sure. Let's go get a drink.
Yeah, I saw there's just a tavern down that corner. We should maybe we could go in there, ask around, see if they've seen anything.
That is a very good idea.
I mean, you're literally stood right next to a tavern.
That's
Yeah, that's the one I
that's the
mean.
one we're talking
So,
about.
Let's go
Yeah,
now.
right. So you make your way inside, and I would say we should call that a session.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm dumb. I tried.
We shall call that a session. So,
We should, instead of being the conduit, we should be the detective.
The detective.
not the best detective agency.
Mm-hmm. Conduit of detectives.
I have to be careful not to laugh.
Oh.
I'm getting better.
We're kind of
Getting better.
useless as far as detectives go.
That's very true too. I mean, we managed last
I mean,
time.
you detected some
But we
stuff.
try.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do our best. I think we're onto something. Also, I can't believe the night hag killed the person that slipped you the letter. Whoops.
Shock horror. Why would it do such a thing?
Because it knows how to. Because he knew how to get rid of her. Damn her.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Point out that the letter said "my courier."
That's why we're going in the tavern.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the session.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
it's good, thank you.
Yeah.
Mysteries unfold.
We'll find a way to get rid of this hag one day. One day
You
we'll
got
get out of Fork.
You got to the end of page 2 of my almost 6-page document.
I'm sorry. I know I wasted a lot of time being stupid.
No, it's fine. Some of the stuff at the bottom of the document has no relation to other things which you used. So, hey.
It was so weird. Why did I wake up in just a random house?
Good question.
The heck? I know you
Good
said a
question.
cutscene was gonna happen. I didn't expect to just wake up in a house.
Yep. There's a reason behind it.
I'm sure there is. You wouldn't have done it otherwise. At least I lost a point of exhaustion.
And I hope you were paying attention to the description.
I recorded it. Haha.
Well, I need to go clean my teeth and get into bed.